What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to learn aspect-oriented programming, or what they call AOP. If we check online, especially from these references, AOP actually is a programming paradigm that aims to increase modularity by allowing the separation of cross-cutting concerns. It does this by adding additional behavior to existing code without modifying the code itself. Instead, we can declare the new code and the new behavior separately. Spring's AOP framework helps us implement this cross-cutting concern. So there are few AOP terminologies here. One is the aspect. Aspect is a class in which we define point cuts and advices. It is a concern which is required to implement a Spring framework or application. An application can have multiple aspects such as logging, security, monitoring, etc. Advice is an action taken by an aspect at a particular joint points. Different types of advice include around, before, and after. In Spring, an advice is modeled as an interceptor, maintaining a chain of interceptors around the joint point. A joint point is a point where concern or aspect gets plugged in. It is a point during the execution of a program, such as an execution of a method or the handling of an exception. Point cut, point cut is a predicate that helps match an advice to be applied by an aspect at a particular joint point. We often associate the advice with a point cut expression, and it runs at any joint point matched by the point cut. There are several advice types. One is before. Before is the advice functionality that takes place before the advice method is invoked. Then we also have the after. The after functionality takes place after the advice method completes, regardless of the outcome. Then we also have the after returning. Returning that which returns the advice functionality takes place after the advice method successfully completes. After throwing, on the other hand, is throwing the advice functionality that takes place after advice method throws an exception. Around is the advice wrap that wraps the advice method, providing some functionality before and after the advice method is invoked. All right, so let's go to the code and see how it works. Okay, so as you can see, I have a sample aspect class here. See, I annotate it using uh, aspect annotation. Okay, this is our uh, uh, implementation of our as AOP. Okay, so in this example, I will basically show you uh, the types of our advice, as I mentioned here earlier. These are the types, right? Before, after returning, after throwing, and around. Okay, so I have here all these advice types, which is before, after returning, after throwing, and around. Okay, then I have also here, this is the point cut as mentioned earlier. This is the expression. Okay, what's the definition of our point cut? As per our documentation, point cut is a predicate that help match an advice to be applied by an aspect at a particular joint point. Okay, we often associate the advice with the point cut expression. Okay, so basically it's an expression. Okay, so this is our point cut expression. So basically from this exception, whichever method matched with its expression will be executed. Okay, so okay, let me run this example. Basically, by the way, I want to show you the dependency we require for this AOP, Spring Boot AOP. Okay, actually we only have one dependency. It's called Spring Boot Starter AOP. Okay, once you add this dependency, then you will be able to access all these uh, packages. Okay, so you will be able to use the aspect annotation and all this AOP related annotations. Okay, so let's put a point, breakpoint. I already put, actually, sorry. Okay, let's run this and test this this example aspect implementation. Okay, let me run this. By the way, how do we test this? So I have a controller here also. Let me check. If I okay, there I saw. So we're going to test for this AOP example. We are targeting this dummy class. Okay, so this dummy class got two methods. Okay, hello and goodbye. So based on our point cut expression, we are targeting this dummy class and all the method. So whenever we invoke any of this method, any methods in this class, dummy class, based on our point cut expression, it will execute all the advice types like before, after returning, after throwing, and around. All this will be executed. Okay, so let's verify that. But before we test, let me check first. All right, so let me test this first. Okay, let me run our tester. Sorry, I should run it in a debug mode so we can verify which method is triggered. Okay, so basically once we hit this endpoint, because we're going to test, right, dummy class method will be executed. Then once this method is executed, our interceptor will intercept that method. So it will basically execute this before method, and this after method will be also executed. If there's no error, this after returning also will be executed. If there's an error, this after throwing will be executed. Regardless whether before and after, this also will be executed. And then that to you around. Okay, let me try to hit the endpoint. Curl http localhost 8080 test. So what we expect if we hit this endpoint, we basically expect before it goes inside this controller, it will be intercepted by our aspect class. Okay, and as we will see. Let's see which method will be triggered. I already put the breakpoint. Okay, let's make it clear. All right. So wait, I think our aspect oriented didn't work. Oh, because it's not yet executed. Sorry about that. Because it will be intercepted only once the this method is executed, right? Okay, so sorry about that. Okay, let me resume. All right. So now, as you can see, uh, the around method is executed. Then as you can see, there is a method like this, uh, proceeding join point proceed. Once we execute this, it means it will proceed to the next how you call this, to the next process. Okay, it will proceed to the basically to the this one we're calling this, right? We're calling this method, right? So we'll basically execute whatever implementation we have inside this method. Okay, let's go back here. Then after that, it will execute. I think before that this will also be executed, if I'm not mistaken. Before, okay, let's just see. So yeah, correct. Before, okay. Then after before, it will execute also after and after returning. Up, yeah. So let's assume and see which will be executed first. Bottom line, both this method will be executed. The difference between these two methods, this method will be executed whether there is error or not. Unlike this one, it will be executed if there is no exception. Okay, let me try. Okay. Oh, there's an error. So what's that error? Let me try. Let me check. What is the error? Oh, because this we throw some error here. Okay, that's why. Because we didn't pass parameter, so we throw this error. That's why in our AOP implementation, it it goes to this method after throwing. Okay, so it's expected. So after this, it should call also this method after, but never this after returning, because we have an error. Okay, let's resume. All right, correct. Then after this, after, I'm expecting it will go back here to around. Let's double confirm. Oh no, so it didn't go there because of the error. Okay, which is expected. Okay, because of the error. So if there's an error, around method will be executed, but until this line only. All right, as you can see, it didn't complete this because of the error. And also after throwing will be executed also. After also will be executed, but never this one because of the error. Okay, and before also is executed. Okay, so let's try the other scenario. The other scenario is the other scenario is, because first scenario is this one, where we throw error. The other scenario is this one. We don't actually we can also use this one. It's just the same thing. We also try we throw error based on the parameter. So what we need to do, we throw we call again the endpoint, same endpoint, but this time we will pass a parameter. Param hey, okay, the parameter param is equal to hey. So once it gets once this method is executed, parameter is no longer empty, so it will not throw error. It will return this dummy string instead. Okay, therefore when there is no error, we expect this method will be executed also. Okay, and this lines will be executed also. Basically, this round method will be executed completely. It will not terminate on this. It will not terminate at this line, unlike the previous test that we have done. Okay, let's try it out. Hey, what happened? I think something is wrong here. Let's try again. Test param. Oh, sorry. I think we need to surround it with the double quote. Okay. All right. Let me hit again. All right. There we go. So again, what we expect here, once we execute this method, our interceptor or our AOP implementation will execute first this one around. Then once it hit this method, it will execute the before. Then after the before, it will execute after returning, then after, but this time it will not execute this after returning because there's no error. Then it will complete this around. Okay, let us verify that one. Okay, let's resume. Now we are here. We are about to execute the method. Okay, let me resume. All right. So let's execute this line. So it will execute the before method. As I explained before, when we execute this this line, it means it will execute whatever logic or whatever implementation we have inside this this method, the one we are invoking. All right, so let's proceed. Should go to before. All right, it went there before. Then after before should be, it should execute the after. Once after this executed, it should return the after. All right, after returning. Okay, after returning, it should execute this after. All right, then after this, it should complete this, because yeah, we came from here, right? It should go back here at this line. Okay, all right, so it's we managed to verify the life cycle or the execution flow of all these advice types. Okay, All right. Thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. I hope you learned something useful, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.